Hi and welcome along to AFTV. Time to preview the game Arsenal versus Huddersfield Town. Now, on paper, we're all going to look at this and say standard win, standard 3 points, easy win, 5, 6, 7. You know what we're like, we start racking them up, but it's the Premier League. And we all know what the Premier League's like. We saw during the week Wolverhampton Wanderers beating Chelsea. There's just no game you can take for granted. And Huddersfield, they're a decent team. I know that last season we dealt with them pretty easily. We battered them at home. I think it was 5-0 we beat them. Away from home, we played them last game of the season. Wenger's last game, beat them then in that game as well. And we didn't really win many games away from home. So 2 games, 2 wins over them last season. However, they're a team at the moment that are fighting for their lives. They've been having a real tough time of it. I think they've lost their last 2 games, and they're going to be really desperate for a win. They're really getting sucked in to the relegation battle down the bottom of the table. And listen, a team like Huddersfield, they know what it's all about being in the Premier League. It's all about survival. And they can come to a place like Arsenal and have a go because nobody's expecting them to win. Nobody's expecting them to get anything out of the game. And for teams like this, a draw is like a victory away at Arsenal. So they're going to come. I think they're going to be quite positive. They're not a team, Huddersfield, that's going to sit back. They're not a defensive team. Managed by David Wagner, of course, the German, very good coach, loved by all the Huddersfield fans. And they are going to come and they're really going to be on the front foot. So we know it's a standard thing. You don't treat any of these games lightly. Now, Huddersfield, player-wise, they're going to be missing Mounier, who's their big guy up front. And they've really had a problem so far this season in scoring goals. In fact, that's been the big problem with Huddersfield. They just don't score enough goals. I mean, I think the joint top goal scorer is Aaron Moy, who plays in midfield. And that just goes to show you. And he gets a lot of goals through set pieces, etc. So they're not a big goal-scoring team, but they are a team that's going to have a go. And as a guy, as I just mentioned, Moy, he is a really talented footballer, the Australian international. Brilliant at free kicks, really good, takes all of their set pieces, and really is a decent player indeed. We're really going to have the shackles on him if we are to get anything out of this game. They've also got a lot of pace in the team in Huddersfield, so look for them to be trying to catch us on the counter-attack with slick moves out from the back. So again, defensively, we're going to have to be structured. We're going to have to be set up very well to deal with those problems. But if we're on our game, if we're on the money, we should be able to deal with those problems. I think it's good news that Granit Xhaka is going to be coming back into the team after his suspension. Although I thought Guendouzi was superb the other night, my man of the match. But that Xhaka-Torreira combination has been serving us really well. And it was a shame to see that broken up against Manchester United. And it'd be good to see those two back together in partnership. And those two sort of get that little bit of protection in front of the back four. And I think we will go with a back four. I don't think we're going to go with a back three for this game. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the injury problems. Rob Holding, really sad that just after this guy has been really making strides in his career, he's really become a starter in the team. He's out injured now. Suffered an injury the other night at Old Trafford. Looked a bit innocuous at first, but it looks like it's a knee injury, and it looks like he could be out to up to 9 months, which really that means that we may not see Rob Holding again for the rest of the season. Koscielny's still not fully fit. Mavropanos is still not fully fit. There's talk that he could be back for the game. Well, both of those could be back for that game against Karabag next week. So it's going to have to be a continuation of Mustafi and Socrates. Both of them have played really well. Mustafi, who's got a lot of stick over the season, has been pretty solid over the last few games. And Socrates, I think, has been really playing well. But there's no doubt that the Rob Holding thing is going to be a big blow. Up front, what do we do? Do we go with both Aubameyang and Lacazette? Now, I was chatting to some fans the other night who were saying, listen, why are we not starting the two of them? They're both brilliant strikers. They're both scoring lots of goals. Now, I've kind of got a thinking behind it that due to the injury of course, Danny Welbeck. We don't really have much options off the bench. You've got Eddie Nketiah, of course, but he's a young player still coming up, and I think the manager really wants to ease him in. So I think that's why at the moment he's opting for having one of either Aubameyang or Lacazette starting, then one of those off the bench that he can bring on later on in case it isn't going too well. And of course, the other day, Lacazette had a bit of a groin injury. And I think in that game against Huddersfield, he'll probably start Aubameyang up front again and leave Lacazette on the bench. He wants to use Lacazette, if he has got a slight groin, sparingly. Because, of course, lots of games coming up over the Christmas period, and the last thing we want is an injury to somebody like Lacazette. So I could see somebody like Lacazette being on the bench and Aubameyang starting. The other question in this is, does Ozil come back in? Now, we don't know if he's still going to be suffering from this back injury. If it is a back injury, there's lots of rumours going around that he's just been left out. Now, I remember the first time round when he was left out, I heard a strong rumour. This time round, I haven't really heard nothing like that. I think it could be a back problem. If the back problem has been solved, then for me, Ozil needs to come back in. This is the perfect game to bring him back in. Huddersfield will probably be on the back foot for a lot of the game, and it will be a perfect game for Ozil to come back into. So I'd like to see Ozil playing tomorrow, but we don't know. It's going to be all down to whether these back problems are still continuing or not. But it'd be great to get Ozil back into the team. And I'm going to give you a little rundown of what I think the team may be, because remember, there's injuries to Ramsey as well. So let me give you a rundown of what I think the team might be. Leto in goal, Bellerin, Mustafi, Socrates and Kolasinac in a back four. I know Kolasinac is not the greatest in a back four. He suits it more as a wing back, but I think because of the injury to Holding, we're going to go back to the four. Torreira and Xhaka got to be right in front of them. And then I'd go Mkhitaryan on the right-hand side. Ozil just there in the middle, just in front of Xhaka and Torreira. And Iwobi on the left-hand side. Iwobi needs a good game. He's had a couple of sort of games that have been a bit shaky. He needs to get back on form. And Aubameyang up front with the option of Lacazette coming off the bench. Now, I don't know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about that team. But I think that team should be good enough to beat Huddersfield. Then, effectively, we've got a week off. We've got the game against Qarabag next week. It's the deadest game in the history of Arsenal Football Club. We've already won the group. They've got no chance of going through. But we've got to fulfil the fixture. And I think that would be another game where you just see pure kids playing in that lineup. So, full pelt at this one. Let's get 3 points. It's important not to slip up in this game, because it would just undo all of that hard work. The last, 3 games, as somebody said the other night, since the international break. Bournemouth, tricky tie away against a team that's been really playing well at home. Then we went, of course, we went back home and we took on Tottenham Hotspur. 3 points, 3 massive points. And then a very good point at Old Trafford. That's 7 points out of a possible 9. Now, to really push on, we've got to beat Huddersfield. And got a chance to possibly push ourselves into the top 4 tomorrow, because if you look at Chelsea's game, a really tricky game for them, taking on Manchester City at home, a game that they could quite easily lose, and Arsenal have to be in a position to capitalise upon that. Actually put both teams under pressure, because if you look at both Tottenham and Chelsea, they're playing late in the day. Tottenham are 5:30, Chelsea are playing later on in the evening. They've got another one of these 7:45 games. So this is a chance for Arsenal. Get the early kick-off, get a big win, 3 points on the ground, and then kick back, relax, have a cigar, not hippie crack, but have a cigar, relax, and watch the game. On that whole hippie crack thing, listen, I've already done a video on that, discussing that and talking about that. I was chatting to a friend of mine and we was talking about the whole timing of that. Notice how the Sun newspaper brought it out just before an Arsenal game. Like they're trying to knock the spirit of the team. So again, this is another one of the reasons why I want to see that team go out there and really put in a good performance, just to show the people in the Sun and all those people who are trying to spread these rumours on Arsenal that this team is strong and this team is together. Notice that they didn't put it out, say, for instance, just after the Man United game or the Tottenham game. They were probably waiting with the story to try and drop it after a loss. But, you know, but this is a chance for the team to show how strong they are, how strong-willed they are. And also, listen, that story, I hope that doesn't detract away from the brilliant work that Unai Emery and all of the players have been doing so far this season, which has been so appreciated by the fans. So let's go out there against Huddersfield. Let's get 3 big points. Then we relax and it's on to the busy, busy Christmas period. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to AFTV. We're doing a big push at the moment to get 1 million subscribers. So if you haven't already subscribed, please, 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 please subscribe here to AFTV.